The coordinate grid. We could also call this the coordinate plane. The coordinate grid is divided into 4 quadrants that are identified by Roman numerals. Top right quadrant, or the quadrant we're going to work on in 5th grade, is quadrant 1. Top left corner is quadrant 2. Bottom left quadrant is quadrant 3. And the bottom right corner is quadrant 4. The very center is called the origin, and that's where 0, 0 is located. Cartesian coordinates are used to pinpoint where you are on a map or graph. You mark a point on a graph by how far along and how far up or down it is. The point on a graph or grid is plotted by using an ordered pair of numbers. The first number in an ordered pair is the x-coordinate, which represents the x-axis that runs horizontally, and the second number in the ordered pair is the y-coordinate, which represents the y-axis that runs vertically. So here's an example: x first, y second, or 2, 3. The horizontal x value is called the abscissa, and the vertical y value is called the ordinate. Now let's go ahead and plot these coordinates. Now remember, the first number is always the x value, and the second number is always the y. So we have our x-axis here, and we have our y-axis going vertically. Now 4, 1 would go. Start at 0, 0, move over on the x-axis to 4, and then 1 is positive, so we go up 1, and that is where we plot our point 4, 1, right there. The next one is -2, 5. So -2 is on the x-axis, so that means we go backwards 2, and then we're going to go up 5 because that's positive. So that takes us into quadrant 2. The first one was in quadrant 1, now we're in quadrant 2. Next we have -4 and -3. So if we start at 0, 0, we're going to go -4 on the x-axis, then the y-axis is -3, and -3 goes down here into the third quadrant. So -4, -3 is right here where they connect, where they cross. 2, -3. So we're going to go on the x-axis starting at 0, move over 2, and -3 is down the y-axis to right here. So then that takes us to -3 in the fourth quadrant. Now 0, 4. So for x we don't move anywhere on the x-axis, but 4 we're going to move up on the y-axis. So that 0, 4 is right here on the y-axis. For 6, 0, we're going to move over to 6 on the x, but go nowhere up or down for the y-axis because it's 0. So that's where 6, 0 is on the coordinate plane. We can write coordinates for each letter, and every time we write coordinates we must have parentheses around them. So let's take a look. A is at, if we start here at 0, 0, A is at 3, and it goes up to 1. So A is at 3, 1. So we put parentheses 3, comma 1. You must have a comma between our coordinates, otherwise we don't have coordinates, we'll have a number 31. B is here, so we started at 0, we went over 1 and up 2. So that's 1, 2, so B is at 1, 2. C, we go over to 6 and up to 3, so that's 6, 3. Oh, I'm sorry, C. So C is at 6, 3. We went to the right 6 and up 3. D, we went over to 5 on the x-axis and up to 6 on the y-axis. So D is at 5, 6. And finally E, we go over 2 on the x-axis and up to 5 on the y-axis. So that's 2, 5. And that's where E is. Okay, here we're going to look and see if we can discover some numerical patterns and then plot a coordinate plot on the coordinate plane. Some ordered pairs. So for this 0, our rule is to add 4. So we're going to take these are going to be our x's here, and then we'll have our y's here on the right side. So if we take 0 and add 4 to it, we're going to end up with 4. So 0, 4. So we start at 0, and then we're going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where 0, 4 goes. 1 Add 4 is 5. So if we move over 1 and go up 5, that would go here. 2 add 4 is 6. So we're going to move over 2 and add 4, and that will go up to 6. 3 add 4 is 7. So go over 3 and up to 7. And then 4 add 4 is 8. So 4, 8. So we'll go over 4 and up to 8. And that is where this add 4 rule, our numerical pattern, goes for add 4. The next one we're going to do is the rule add 2. So 0, if we add 2, is 2. So we start at 0, don't go anywhere for x, and move up to 2, and that would go here. 1 add 2 is 3, so we go 1, 3, move over 1, up 3. 2 add 2 is 4, so over 2 and up 4. 3 add 2 is 5, so we're going to move over 3 and go up to 5. Plot the point there. Add 2 to 4 and you get 6, so we're going to move over to 4 and go up to 6. Look at that. They're parallel to each other. That's interesting. Now we have a different kind of rule here. Add 5. So we're going to start at 0. Add 5 to 0, add 5 to 1, add 5 to 2, add 5 to 3, and add 5 to 4. Now we'll plot our points. 0, 5. So we go nowhere on the x-axis for 0. We're going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where 0, 5 is. 1, 6. So we go over 1 and up 6. 2, 7. 3, 8. These don't look like dots, do they? Points. They should look like points. And 4, 9. Okay. Next we have subtract 2. Oh, 0 subtract 2 is negative 2. 1 subtract 2 is negative 1. 2 subtract 2 is 0. And 3 subtract 2 is 1. 4 subtract 2 is 2. This is a little different. So here we go, nowhere for 0, but down negative 2, which will be right here, although we don't have our axis drawn down here. 1, negative 1, so we go over 1, go down to negative 1. Go over to 2 and nowhere for 0. Over 3 up 1, and over 4 up 2. And that is the rule subtract 2.